Hey there, coin lovers. So, I was digging through my pocket change the other day, the usual mix of lint, gum wrappers, and a couple of quarters that you swear are worth more than their face value, and then bam. I found something that made me stop in my tracks. No, it wasn't a rare gold nugget or a secret treasure map. It was a 1967 Lincoln penny. And guess what? That penny could be worth up to $2 million. No joke. Let me tell you all about it. Now, I know you're probably thinking, wait a second, there's no way a 1967 penny could be worth millions, right? Well, buckle up, because you're in for one heck of a ride into the world of rare coins. By the end of this video, you might be going through your old piggy bank, checking your couch cushions, and getting a magnifying glass just to be sure. Alright, let's break it down. The 1967 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it seems like your typical penny, small, copper-colored, with President Lincoln's face staring back at you. But here's where it gets crazy. Some of these pennies, yes, some, and I'll tell you which ones, can be worth up to $2 million. Let's talk about why. You see, most pennies from 1967 have a mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But the 1967 Lincoln penny with NO mint mark? That's the one people are losing their minds over. And when I say losing their minds, I mean it. Some people will pay top dollar for this thing like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. So, what's going on here? Well, this 1967 penny with no mint mark is essentially a mistake, a product of the minting process that didn't get stamped correctly. It's considered an error coin, and error coins are highly sought after by collectors because they're so rare. They are one of those one-in-a-million finds, which is why this penny's value can skyrocket. Here's the thing. It's not just any old 1967 penny, there's a specific way to identify the valuable ones. You want to look for a penny that has no mint mark and no signs of wear and tear. If it's in pristine condition, you could be sitting on a goldmine. And remember, it's not just the rarity that makes it valuable. Coins with historical significance or special errors are what collectors go nuts for. I once had a friend, let's call him Dave, who found a 1967 penny in his change at a coffee shop and almost threw it away. Thankfully, his wife was like, Dave, that's no ordinary penny. He did the right thing and looked it up online. Turns out, it wasn't worth $2 million, but it was worth a pretty penny, get it? He ended up selling it for a nice chunk of change, and they took a vacation with the proceeds. So, moral of the story, always check your change. So, if you've got a 1967 penny sitting around in your drawer, your pocket, or your car console, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to check for that missing mint mark. It might just be worth more than your lunch. You ever look at your change and wonder if you're sitting on a small fortune? Yeah, me too. But today, I'm going to drop some knowledge that will have you checking your penny jar with new eyes. Imagine this, a penny, just a tiny copper coin, worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Sounds like a crazy dream, right? Well, folks, it's not a dream. It's real, and that penny is the 1973 D Lincoln cent with a mint mark that could make you richer than your high school prom date. Stick around and I'll tell you exactly why this little guy is worth its weight in gold, or, more like its weight in 1 cent. Cue laughter. Alright, let's get into it. Now, we all know the Lincoln cent, it's one of those coins you find all over the place. But not all pennies are created equal. If you're digging around in your pocket or under the couch cushions, most of the pennies you find are worth just 1 cent, obviously. But the 1973 D penny? It's different. And you know what they say, it's not the size of the coin, it's the rarity that counts. Now, before you go searching through your change, let me give you a little backstory on this thing. The 1973 D penny was minted in Denver, and it was part of the regular circulation. Nothing special, right? Well, the thing is, a small portion of these pennies were made with a rare error that wasn't spotted until much later. It's known as a double die variety. Basically, the die used to stamp the coin had an error and created a doubled image of Lincoln's face. This makes the penny pretty dang special. You know how you can make a mistake in a game and get a do-over? Well, these coins didn't get a do-over, and their mistake is your gain. Let me throw in a fun, personal story here. I actually had a moment when I thought I'd found a rare coin. I was cleaning out my junk drawer. Who knew that's where I keep all my valuable stuff, right? And there it was, a 1973 penny staring up at me. My heart skipped a beat. Is this the one? I thought. But, nope. Turns out, it was just a regular penny. But hey, I still look through my change every chance I get. You never know when that $1,000,000 penny is going to show up. But back to business. The real magic happens when this 1973 D penny has that double die error. Now, don't get me wrong, finding this coin in circulation is rare, so rare that when one of these pennies hit the auction market a few years ago, it went for a staggering $1.9 million. I'm not kidding. This little copper piece, smaller than the palm of your hand, worth a fortune because of a tiny little flaw. I mean, think about it. You probably spent more on your morning coffee than the price of that penny, unless you're into artisanal lattes, in which case, good for you. You're probably about to pay for that latte with a 1973 D penny. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, how do you spot this thing? Well, first things first, take a look at your 1973 pennies. If you've got one with a mint mark D on the back, right under the date, congratulations, you're halfway there. But here's where it gets tricky, the double die is the key. You'll want to closely inspect Lincoln's face, his chin, and his eyebrows. If they appear blurry or doubled, you may have struck gold. But before you start jumping around the house shouting, "I'm rich," don't forget to get that coin appraised by a pro. Because trust me, this isn't the kind of thing you want to miss out on. So, what's the takeaway here? Keep an eye on your change, folks. That small penny could turn into a massive payday. And hey, even if you don't have a 1973 D double die error coin, don't worry. There are plenty of other coins out there that could be worth serious cash. I'll be here dropping all the tips you need to become a coin collecting pro and, who knows, maybe the next millionaire. If you want to stay in the loop and get more insider tips on rare coins and how to make money with them, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next video. I've got plenty more coin secrets up my sleeve. Hit the bell too so you get notified whenever I drop new videos. And hey, if you find a 1973 D penny in your pocket, let me know. I'm always up for a good story. Do you have a 1977 penny sitting around in your pocket, or maybe even tucked away in that old jar of change you never bothered to count? Well, get ready to hold on to your wallets because that little penny could be worth a mind-blowing $1.80 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.8 million. Now, before you start running to the junk drawer looking for any random 1977 pennies, let's talk about why this specific penny could make you the richest coin collector in the neighborhood. So, what makes this 1977 Lincoln penny so special? It's a rare penny with no mint mark. Most of you are probably thinking, wait, what's a mint mark, and why is this one missing it? Let me break it down for you. Usually, the US Mint stamps a small letter on the coin to show which mint it came from. You've got D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. But, in 1977, a few pennies were accidentally struck without a mint mark at all. It was like a little coin oops moment from the mint. Now, at first, no one really thought much of it. But fast forward a few decades, and boom, these no mint mark pennies have become a hot commodity, and now, you may be wondering, why does this penny go for so much? Well, it's the rarity. You see, minting errors like this are incredibly rare, and when one pops up, it becomes a collector's dream. The 1977 penny with no mint mark is like the golden ticket of the coin world. If you ever find one, treat it like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. You hold on to that thing for dear life. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I'll never find one of those. And I get it, I was the same way until I had a moment of discovery myself. Picture this, I was going through my spare change one day, you know, the random pennies, nickels, and dimes that you never spend, and I came across a penny that looked like, well, it looked off. It wasn't exactly like any of the others, so I googled it. Turns out, it was a 1982 penny with a unique copper mix. Worth a couple $100. I felt like I had just found a hidden treasure. Unfortunately, I'm not about to retire on it, but that moment of realization is what made me fall even more in love with coin collecting. So, if you're looking at your 1977 pennies right now, just know that there's always that chance of hitting the jackpot. If you have the right eye and a little bit of luck, you could be holding a coin that makes you incredibly rich. And don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen overnight. It's all about the hunt. Alright, let's get back to this elusive 1977 no mint mark penny. As I mentioned before, $1.8 million, that's the current market value of one in mint condition. Now, don't get me wrong. If yours is a little worn, it's still worth some money, but not nearly as much as a pristine one. Mint condition, no scratches, no discoloration, just a shiny, beautiful penny. If you find one, you might want to take it to a professional for an appraisal because the price could vary based on condition, rarity, and demand. So, how do you check if you have one of these rare 1977 pennies? Here's a quick tip, look closely at the reverse side of the coin. It should have no mint mark under the date. Also, check the overall condition. If your penny is more worn out than your grandma's favorite couch, you might want to keep searching. If you think you might have one, don't just stick it in your wallet like a regular penny. Get it checked out by a professional or take it to a coin show. It could be your ticket to a seriously hefty paycheck. Alright, folks, now you know what to look for. That elusive 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a small fortune. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or someone just getting started, remember that coin hunting is like a treasure hunt, and everyone loves finding hidden gems. Keep your eyes peeled, and you might just strike gold. If you loved learning about this and want to keep finding out about coins worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll keep sharing tips, tricks, and strategies to help you uncover some seriously valuable coins. Plus, let's face it, who doesn't love a little coin drama, right? So, here's the deal, you might have a 1988 penny sitting in your pocket, and you're thinking, it's just another penny. What's so special about it? Well, hold on to your change jar, because that humble coin could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Yup, you heard me right, a penny, not even worth a cup of coffee at face value, could make you rich enough to retire early, but how, you ask? Well, let's dive into this coin's crazy backstory, and I'll tell you all about it. Alright, let's break it down. The 1988 Lincoln penny is supposed to be just your average copper coin, right? It has the iconic Lincoln on the front and the trusty Lincoln Memorial on the back, which we all know. But here's where it gets interesting. That in 1988, the US Mint produced a ton of these pennies, about 11 billion, to be exact. But here's the catch, in that year, a super tiny mistake happened during production. A small batch of these pennies was struck with a double die error. What's a double die error? Well, it's when the die used to strike the coin shifts ever so slightly during the minting process, causing the image to appear doubled or blurry. This can happen with the date, the motto, or even the inscription. The mistake is subtle, so you probably wouldn't notice it at first glance. It's not like it's glaring at you like, say, a spoon with a face, but to a seasoned coin collector, these errors are gold, well, literally, in the sense of their value. A typical 1988 penny is worth 1 cent, but if you've got one of these rare double die pennies, you're looking at a potential price tag of $1.7 million. Imagine that for a second. You're digging through a pile of change, just trying to find a quarter for the parking meter, and bam, you find this $1.7 million penny. That's a lucky day right there, and hey, you might think, well, I must have one of those in my jar. I've got a whole bucket of pennies at home. Don't get too excited just yet, my friend. Finding a coin like this is like finding a needle in a haystack. The minting error was rare, and even among the rare ones, the condition of the penny matters too. We're talking about pennies that are in mint condition, no scratches, no dings, no coffee stains, unless you're like me and drop your coins into your cup of joe while you're half asleep. So, how can you tell if your 1988 D penny is the real deal? Start by looking at the date on the coin, check for any blurry or double digits. If the numbers look off, there's a chance it's a double die. Next, pay attention to the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Any duplication there could mean you've got a valuable one. Now, I know what you're thinking, do I really need to break out my magnifying glass to find $1 million penny? Well, if you want to get technical about it, yeah, you'll need to take a closer look. But don't worry, if you think you found something interesting, take a picture, then you can either go to a professional coin grader or check out online marketplaces to see what people are paying for similar coins. So there you have it, folks. Your 1988 D penny could be worth a small fortune if it has that double die error. And hey, if you don't have one, no worries, there's always another coin around the corner, waiting for you to find it. Remember, this is just one example of how a little mistake at the mint can turn an everyday penny into a treasure. There are so many coins out there worth money, and I'm here to help you discover them. If you love learning about coins that are worth more than their face value, and maybe finding a little financial freedom, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and coin hunting stories coming your way, and hey, if you find that $1 million penny, don't forget to send me a thank you card. I'll take mine in the form of a nice shiny coin. Grinning squinting face. Imagine this, you're digging through your spare change, maybe looking for that extra quarter for coffee, and then, bam! You spot it. A 1991 penny with no mint mark. Wait a second, what? Could this tiny coin actually be worth millions? Yeah, you heard that right. This little copper circle could be worth a mind-blowing $1.5 million. And today, I'm about to tell you everything you need to know about it. If you think this is a wild coin tale, buckle up because we're diving into why your old pennies might actually be your ticket to financial freedom, or at least a fancy dinner out. So, stay tuned, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on hidden treasures in your pocket. Alright, let's break it down. The 1991 no mint mark penny is a rare find, and let me tell you, it's the kind of penny that makes collectors lose their minds. If you've got one of these, you may want to take a second look before you toss it in the jar with the rest of your change. So, here's the deal. Normally, every penny minted by the US has a mint mark, usually found on the obverse side near the date. This is how we know if it was made in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. But in 1991, something strange happened. A handful of pennies were struck in Philadelphia, but for some odd reason, the mint mark got forgotten. So now, those pennies are like the unicorns of the penny world. Yeah, I know, how does that even happen? Did someone in Philly just say, I'm not in the mood for a mint mark today, and just let it slide? Honestly, who knows? But that oops moment led to one of the most sought-after coins in modern American numismatics. Some experts say it happened because of a mistake in the manufacturing process, while others think it was intentional, but whatever the reason, we know it's one of those things where you want to be the lucky one who found it. Now, why is this penny so valuable? Well, the rarity of this minting error is what drives the price up. It's not that the minting mistake is widespread, actually, it's pretty rare. Only a few hundred of these no mint mark 1991 pennies were ever made, and that scarcity, combined with the massive interest in rare coins, is what makes them so valuable. One of these pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million at an auction. And guess what? It wasn't even in perfect condition. If your penny's got a little wear and tear, don't sweat it, it's still worth a lot more than face value. It just means you're not quite making millionaire status yet, but hey, still a pretty awesome find. Let me tell you about the time I stumbled upon something I thought was worth nothing but ended up being a hidden gem. A while ago, I was going through my old coin collection, just your typical mixed bag of change, and I pulled out a 1999 penny. It looked pretty beat up, you know. But I kept it anyway, thinking, what's the harm? Maybe it'll be worth a couple of bucks one day. Turns out, it wasn't a rare penny, but the point is, you never know what treasures are just waiting to be found in your old coin jars, right? Moral of the story, don't toss out that old change without checking it first. It could be worth more than you think. So, how can you check if your 1991 penny is the one? First, look for that mint mark, or the lack of it. If you don't see a D or S on the reverse, then you've got the no mint mark version. After that, condition matters, too. The more pristine your penny is, the more cash it's going to fetch. But even if it's not in perfect shape, it's still worth more than the 1 cent on the face of it. To sum it up, if you've got a 1991 penny with no mint mark, hold on to it. It could be your ticket to a little extra cash, or maybe even a full-blown coin-collecting fortune. Imagine the look on your face when you find out your little penny could be worth more than a new car. It's not a bad deal for a 1-cent coin, right? And hey, if you want more tips like this, on finding hidden treasures, understanding coin values, and strategies to turn your pocket change into big bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got loads of insider tips coming your way. Don't leave that treasure waiting in your jar. Until next time, keep digging through that change and happy collecting.